Back here on Tuesday. We're getting ready to get started. Gonna wait a little bit just to get everybody loaded up here, making sure that Cloud Hub is up and running. And as always, we're waiting a little bit for for Rumble, which always gets up the last bit. So we have Cloud Hub up right now, and so we're going to go ahead and get started. And I know that Rumble will catch up. All right, today I want to talk about, a lot of times on our health and wellness journey, we think about, okay, if we just change this, we'll be healthier. We change this and it'll be better. We can do this and that. There are some things that we may not be aware of, or things that we should become aware of, that we're ingesting in our system that we may not even be aware of, that no one has told us about, or that we just are not suspecting. So, by not suspecting it, it can really cause us harm. Now, what do I mean by that? Let me go ahead. I'm going to load this up if I can and get started. Today, I want to talk about basically one specific area, and that is processed meats. Okay, because in America, especially, I believe we eat a lot of processed meats and we don't think anything about it. Well, looked up an article, a WebMD by Stephen Reinberg, and it says processed meats. There was a study that found those who ate the most increased their risk of dying prematurely by 44%. Now, if that can be believed, and this study is accurate, that is a lot. Okay, that's a huge percentage that we should be cognizant of. Hey, Deb, good to see you. Hey, Curtis, good to see you. So let's take a closer look at what all of this means. Grilled hot dogs and sausages may be tasty treats at ball games and picnics, but a new study of nearly 450,000 people finds that eating too much processed meat might shave years off your life. Again, not an insignificant amount, years off your life. And so it's something that we should know about. Those who ate the most processed meat increased their risk of dying early by 44%. In broader terms, if people ate less processed meat, the number of premature deaths overall would drop by almost 3%. This is what Swiss researchers reported. They said our recommendation is to limit processed meat intake to less than an ounce a day. Now, I know a lot of people who eat a lot of processed meats and red meats, um, that basically have, I don't know, somewhere between 3, 5, and upwards of these, each meal or each day, I should say. So they have all these portions of meat, sometimes, like I said, 3 to 5 times a week, probably more than that, where they're eating meat at every meal. And so, if you believe in this, and especially if you eat processed meats, really, really something you should take a look at. Now, it said a wide array of studies have linked meat intake to higher rates of chronic disease. This was by Dr. David Katz, director of Yale University Prevention Research Center in New Haven, Connecticut. Eating relatively more meat likely means eating fewer plant foods, which protect against chronic diseases, he said. The case for us eating mostly plants is strong, Katz said, but those inclined can eat meat without harming their health, provided they choose wisely and steer clear of bologna. I don't know about you. When I was a kid, I loved bologna, right? Nobody said anything. We weren't worried about those things as kids. And a long time ago, we really weren't worried about any of this. Now, for the study, which was published online March 6th in the journal BMC Medicine, Warmer and an international team of investigators collected data on nearly 450,000 men and women. At the start of the study, none of the participants had cancer, a heart attack, or stroke. The researchers also collected data on diet, smoking, exercise, and weight. By the middle of 2009, more than 26,000 of those in the study had died. That's incredible. Mortality is increased when we compare those participants who eat more than 40 grams per day of processed meat to those who have 10 to 20 grams per day. The higher the consumption, the higher the risk. For the highest consumption group, those who consume at least 160 grams of processed meat per day, mortality was 44% higher compared with those who ate little meat between 10 to 20 grams a day. And there is the study there, Cornucopia University, March 8th. This was done in 2013 that this was written. Now, let's look at, a lot of people eat processed ham, right? Hey, good morning, Irene. Good to see you. Um, well, we're getting to that, Deb. We are going to get to all of that. Trust me. So, what are the ingredients in processed ham? Let's just take a typical ham and see what's in there. Pork, 80%, water, mineral sea salt, dextrose, stabilizers, sodium triphosphate, tetrapotassium diphosphate, potato fiber, antioxidant, sodium ascorbate, a preservative, sodium nitrate. Okay, so nitrate. Uh, let's look at each of these ingredients. What is sodium triphosphate? And is it bad for you? Okay. Trisodium phosphate in food is deemed problematic by many health experts because of the potential health risks it can cause. It is believed to cause kidney damage, soft tissue calcification, and bone calcium. It says removal. I guess it means removal. Contagious ingestion over a long period of time is linked to bone density diseases such as osteoporosis. Now, if you've ever gone to a doctor, do they ever tell you what could be causing your osteoporosis, or what makes it bad? What can you do to ensure that yours isn't going to be that bad, or that you're not going to have such a severe case, or if at all. All right. So let's look again. This is Deb was talking about sodium nitrate and sodium nitrate. Trite. Sodium nitrate and its cousin additive sodium nitrite is a common preservative used in cured meat products, including bacon, deli meat, and jerky. It's been linked to the development of heart disease and diabetes. This additive has been cut out from some foods due to these concerns. This was written by WebMD, October 25th, 2021. Here's an article about sodium nitrate. Most packaged foods you buy at the grocery store are made with additives to preserve freshness, maintain flavor, and prolong shelf life, but you may not know exactly how these additives affect your health. Sodium nitrate, and the cousin nitrite, is a common preservative used in cured meat products, including bacon, deli meat, and jerky. It's been linked to the development, as we said, of heart disease and diabetes, and has been cut out. I've read the same thing again. Okay, purpose and function. Sodium nitrate and nitrate are added to processed and cured meats to preserve shelf life and to give them flavor and a pink color. I mean, isn't that great? At your health expense, these preservatives are put in, and the coloring is put in. But again, some of the issues that they can cause, I want to know, if has anybody ever gone to a doctor out there who has told you don't eat these things, or perhaps if you, a lot of people who, as they're getting older, do get osteoporosis and they have flare-ups where they have a lot of pain. Does the doctor ever stop to say, hey, maybe what you're eating, it, if you stop eating it, it may not take all of it away, but it may cut down on your risk that you're putting yourself under right now by the fact that you are eating it. I've never had a doctor talk to me about any of those things. The human body needs nitrates and nitrites. These additives serve an important bodily function. Your body breaks down the nitrates and nitrites, which it then converts into either nitric oxide or nitrosamines, I guess. Now, the nitric oxide, if you read that book that I recommended to you called The Clot Thickens by Dr. Malcolm Kendrick, he talks about the nitric oxide and how you can destroy some of that nitric oxide, which your body needs. Now, it says most of our nitrates and nitrites come naturally from vegetables. In fact, around 85% of the nitrates and nitrites in our diet come from not meat, but vegetables. And there are a lot of people who hate to eat vegetables. I'm, thank God, not one of them, but there are tons of people who put the vegetables aside and will only eat the meat. And some of the diets, like the keto diet and all that, they tell you to eat meat, 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 cut everything else out. And as we're looking at this, if this is true, then that's not going to be good for you. So, the nitric oxide, this molecule is a huge supporter of heart health in your body. Many nitrate and nitrates, and consequently nitric oxide, come from vegetables. So, it makes sense that a vegetable based diet is better for your heart in the following ways. Nitric oxide protects against cardiovascular disease, it lowers blood pressure, and it improves your blood flow. Now, I talk to you a lot about the Mediterranean food plan. And a lot of what's on the Mediterranean food plan are vegetables, right? Not a lot of red meat. You get salmon and other fish and chicken, but a lot of vegetables and things of that nature, fruits, vegetables. So, a more balanced, I guess, if you will, type of food plan than if you ate just the meat, like in the keto, where they're telling you eat a lot of protein, a lot of meat. They don't tell you about some of the consequences, and I know the consequences because I was eating at the beginning a long time ago a keto diet where I was eating a lot of meat for the protein, and I was cutting out everything else. Well, what happened? I became pre-diabetic. My blood pressure went up. So, not maybe for some people it works. I don't know. For me, it did not. How about nitrate free meats? Yeah, well, we'll get to that, Deb. Deb, you're right, going right along with you. Nope, and my mom has osteoporosis. Well, you might want to talk to her about some of the things that we're talking about today, or show her this video because maybe she could benefit from it. Now, nitrosamines, this compound is at the heart of why nitrates and nitrates are considered toxic. Nitrosamines are a carcinogen or a cancer causing substance. They are found everywhere in our environment, including the air and water. They are also in certain drugs. Yet, nitrosamines earn their reputation from the sodium nitrate in our food. Okay, here are foods that are high in nitrates. This is an article written in 2022 by WebMD editorial contributors. Nitrates are a set of compounds that involve nitrogen and oxygen molecules, where they're often associated with cured meats. Green leafy vegetables are actually much richer in nitrates. While the association of nitrate with cured meats causes some to worry about their cancer causing effects, other studies show that the nitrates found in vegetables may actually help reduce the risk of cancer. Studies suggest that eating foods rich in natural nitrates can help reduce your risk of a number of chronic health conditions, whereas eating foods high in added nitrates can cause health risks. And there's the difference, really. What it boils down to is, natural versus those that we find in our meat that can be, according to these articles, can cause health risks. Why you should avoid nitrates. Nitrates on their own are not broken down by stomach acid. Instead, your gut biome can break down nitrate into nitrite, which can cause health complications, such as an increased risk of cancer. An inorganic, water soluble chemical. Your body makes around 62 milligrams of nitrates a day, but the majority of nitrates come from your diet. On average, a person living in the United States consumes 75 to 100 milligrams of nitrates a day. So you can see how this is a big health risk if you believe any of the articles from WebMD and the ones that we've been talking about. Health risks of consuming added nitrates include blue baby syndrome. Never heard of that, but okay. Increased risk of cancer and complications during pregnancy. Now, let's look at some food with added nitrates in them that, again, we buy probably every day and don't think anything about it. It says, while these nitrates are useful for preserving and improving the color of food, they are not good for your health. Many studies recommend that vitamin C be added to cured meats high in nitrates to prevent the formation of harmful nitrite compounds. Now, or you can choose not to eat them, okay? That's like the safer thing to do. Just don't eat them. Ham. Ham is often the highest source of dietary nitrates. A single 100-gram serving of cured ham has as much as 900, um, what is that, milli something, gosh, of nitrates. This is the source of the iconic pink color of cured ham. Let me just 1 second look this up. That is, I mean, my gosh, that what is that, microgram of that's 100 grams, 900 micrograms of nitrites. Okay, so not good. I mean, maybe in the big scheme of things, it's kind of, small-ish, but still not good. All right, now bacon. Everybody loves bacon. Oh my gosh. Okay, I love bacon. I don't eat bacon anymore. I've done some research on bacon. Don't eat it. Okay, but other people like to eat it, and that's fine. Okay, bacon up to 380 on 100 grams of weight. It's also incredibly high, 5.5 milligrams of nitrites. Nitrates and nitrites tend to be pervasive in bacon production, which leads some brands to label their packaging as nitrate free. Nitrate free bacon was tested as having nearly double the amount of nitrates at up to 680 per 100 grams. Now that's crazy. See, you could get bacon and you could think, oh, I'm nitrate free. That's great. I don't have to worry about it. And it's telling you just the opposite is true. So that's why it's so important to look closely at ingredients, do research on that so you really know what you're being fed. Deli meat. Deli meat is another major source of harmful nitrates. Cured deli meats, on average, have up to 500 of the nitrates per 100 grams of meat, while uncured deli meats have about 300 in the same amount of meat. So, deli meat, there are a lot of people, including myself. I used to eat deli meat thinking that was really good and that it was probably better than the other. Not so true. All right. Now here's another one, hot dogs. Everybody loves hot dogs. Everybody loves hot dogs. And how many times have you eaten the hot dogs and and you don't think anything about it? Um, so one, just so you know, 1 microgram is 1 millionth of a gram and 1 thousandth of a milligram. It's usually abbreviated as MCG. So 1 microgram is 1 millionth of a gram and 1 thousandth of a milligram. So, hmm, not something that we see every day. But anyway, hot dogs are one of the most processed sources of meat on the market. At about 50 of nitrates per 100 grams, which carries about 9 milligrams of nitrates. All right. What are some healthy sources of nitrates? They can be converted into healthy nitric oxide. You don't need to cut out nitrates entirely. Instead, eat natural sources of nitrates where the compound is found with other antioxidants and vitamins. These four foods are rich in natural nitrates, okay? Spinach, bok choy, lettuce, and carrots. Well, so everybody's probably looking at that and thinking, but I don't want to eat just vegetables. I don't like just vegetables. I want to eat meat. Well, let's talk about cured and uncured ham for as an example. When you're shopping for ham, you have the choice between uncured and cured. Simply put, cured ham has gone through a curing process designed to preserve the meat without refrigeration. This process often involves a variety of chemicals and additives. Okay, not sounding good, is it? On the other hand, uncured meats have not been treated with preservatives and must rely on natural salts and flavorings to keep from going bad. Both cured and uncured hams offer their fair share of benefits and drawbacks. Before making your ham decision, check out the following sections on what uncured ham and cured ham and uncured ham bring to the table. So, just looking at the process alone, whoops, looking at the process alone, you can see that it's not healthy, really, getting the cured ham. It's like having, decaf coffee that is not organic. You're getting a lot of chemicals in there, again, that you may not even be aware of. Now, let's look at something like this. How about if we wanted ham? Let's choose something like Hormel Natural Choice Ham. This happens to be smoked ham. So, what's in it? It's 100% natural ingredients, minimally processed, no artificial ingredients. I would probably look at it though, and just to make sure what's in it. Calorie count's pretty good. 4 slices equals a serving. That's about 60 calories. It has like zero saturated fat, zero trans fat. Sodium level 580. Not the greatest, but not the worst. Cholesterol about 30 milligrams. One total carbohydrates. Dietary fiber 0. Total sugars is 1. Not so bad. I mean, just eating that alone is healthier than going out and getting something that is cured with tons of preservatives. And a lot of times, a lot of these meats have a lot of sugar in them. So you want to really look and be careful. Uncured meat is still technically cured, albeit more naturally than the former option. It does not contain any nitrates or nitrites and is often cured using salt, celery powder, and/or beets. The curing process can take days or even weeks, depending on the temperature and humidity of the environment. So, I just wanted to bring you sort of a quick look at something that is really common that most households will eat. Yeah, celery juice is bad for us. Yeah. Well, no, I don't think the celery juice is necessarily dead. They're just saying that if it's uncured, they use salt and celery juice and things like that to preserve it. They're not saying that celery juice is bad, but that's what's used in the uncured. Now, if you do the cured, God only knows what you're getting. You're getting a lot of stuff in there that we haven't even talked about. Um, but again, when you there's a lot of people that for their child's lunch, let's say, they'll make a ham and cheese sandwich and put on different kinds of bread. And I think, if you want to live sort of, this health and wellness journey and be as healthy as you can be, you don't want to drive yourself crazy reading every label unless you want to, and then, go ahead and do that, which would be great because then you'll know exactly what you're putting into your body. But if you're getting the ham, let's say that you're, yeah, the celery powder, but the natural celery, Deb, if they're using natural celery, then that was probably okay because that would be the natural nitrates, and that would be fine. But I don't know for sure, but I'm just saying we learned that the different vegetables have the natural nitrates, and those are fine. But again, if you're making a ham and cheese sandwich, what are you feeding your child? What are you feeding yourself? Is it cured ham? Is it cured meat? What's the cheese? Is a cheese process? What goes into that process of the cheese when it's processed cheese rather than natural cheese? What's in your bread? Is it whole wheat? Is it good for you? Does it have grains? Are there a lot of vitamins in there, or do we have things in there that make the bread a different color or a different fiber that isn't good for us? What are you putting in, like your child's chips? Are you giving them fruit instead? Are you giving them vegetables instead? All of those things are very important. And when you're young like that, if you start your child off eating really healthy at a young age, their body doesn't become addicted to, I don't know about you, but as a child, I mean, you got whole milk, which is probably okay for a child. I don't know, but whole milk, you got chocolate, you had candy, you had cereals with sugar on it, tons of sugar, sugar, sugar everywhere. And when you start out like that, your body, as if you look at anything about sugars, your body craves those sugars. And so you just do anything you can to get those sugars back in your body. It's addictive in a lot of regards. And so if you start out young and children are taught how to eat well, then maybe they won't be overweight. Maybe they won't have many of the health problems that we see today by older adults. The way that we've eaten. the way that, some adults continue to eat. That's why as many of you know, I've changed to eating as organic as I can. That doesn't always mean that you're getting everything exactly as labeled. Um, I don't eat a lot of red meat. I really don't. I may have a hamburger once a month at that. And then it's grass fed beef. If you're going to buy meat, if you have somebody who in your state, um, locally, that can give you meat that you're sure has not been shot up with different things in it, and we'll talk about that some other time, then do so. Eat as healthy as you can. And why am I saying that? Am I saying that because I want everybody to become a fanatic about what they eat? Well, no, but if you want to become a fanatic about what you eat, that would be great. At least you know that you're eating healthy. But the world that we live in today, the air is not the greatest quality. The water may not be the greatest quality. So if you can, if you have a choice, if you're able, then you do the best that you can. It's before when I talked to you about that Alexa Pure Pro, that water filter, that you can get, that whole arrangement of like 2 gallons of water, and it filters through, and you get water purified as best as it can be for what you can afford. And that was like a $200 purchase, that'll last you and be as good as most people. I mean, I'm sure there are other people who can afford far more, far better, but that's what I can afford, and that's what I do. And I purify all of my water. Even my dogs drink purified water. If you know anything about California water, typically it's not the best water. And most states are like that too. So you do the best that you can on your health and wellness journey. And again, if you want to take time and everything you eat and inspect every single thing, you'll probably be healthier than the rest of us, right? As long as you don't cause yourself anxiety about what you're eating. Do the best you can. Pray over your food. I do believe in that, and having God bless your food no matter what it is, and it will be healthier for you. I know a lot of people probably think that's silly. I happen not to think that's silly. But you can do that. You can do everything that you think is best for you in your health and wellness journey to get you where you want to be, and to keep you as healthy as possible. And as we go in, to the winter months, for some of you, you're going to get snow and ice and things of that nature, and you want to eat healthy so that you can stay healthy during the months of winter and all year round, as a matter of fact. And try to get your exercise that you need, because eating healthy is one thing, exercising is another. Again, it's kind of a well balanced plan, and I'm taking little things at a time, to tell you about. Again, today was about processed meats. Before, we've talked about another aspect of things that you can do, what type of foods that you can eat, maybe like what plan you can follow, what the typical exercise program might look like. But I just want to give you little bits and pieces so that you can put together what you feel is best for you. If you don't care about nitrates and nitrites, then this whole thing has not been helpful for you, but it may be helpful for someone else. I do care about those because, again, in reading the research that I found, it shows that the natural nitrates and nitrites are fine, but the ones that are put into our foods may not be so healthy for us. And when you're talking about lowering somebody's lifespan by like 44% in that one article that I read that makes me stand up and take pause. So again, do your own research, talk to your own doctor. I don't know that your doctor will talk to you about this or talk to you about food, because quite honestly, they don't typically know, because they give you a pill. That's what they know. They've been taught how to fix a problem once the problem has been created. What I'm talking to you about is trying to fix a problem before there is even a problem, right? Or if you've been eating like this poorly for your whole life, now is the time to try to change that, to try to reverse that, or at least to try and not make it worse. All right. So if anybody has any questions, that's all I have, for today. I hope this has helped you. I hope this will help somebody that you know. that maybe isn't eating well, isn't feeling well, maybe has some chronic issues. Some of it may have to do with the food that they eat. Deb said, absolutely, eating healthy and healthy exercise are synergistic. Absolutely. And Deb, I would add on top of that, your mental and spiritual being, meaning that you're mentally, you're trying not to focus on, the negativity in the world, that you're trying to stay focused where it should be, and that you do things that are positive, that help you spiritually, that, and your relationship with God, that helps you, all of those things, with how you eat and your exercise, all goes together to make up who we are and to make us the best people and the healthiest people that we can be. So, again, thank you so much for being here. God bless you. And we'll see you again next Tuesday. Take care.